Welcome back to Gold Rush. It's day 2. I've been and done some more digging. 2 more runs through of our hog pan. Nothing more than that. The game has now stopped giving me lots and lots of nuggets, so clearly it thinks I'm beyond the start of the game and decides to say, hey, now you're back to where you should be. Okay, so I've got 616 grams of gold. I did go and check at the bank. Gold price is catastrophically low, so instead of smelting, I think I'm just going to sell. So what will we get from that? We'll get 21,245. So that's 38 grand. Now, we're not going to be able to afford what I need to afford just yet, even though that sounds like a lot, but it's really not. Because one of the machines I want to buy is the small excavator, and that's 28 grand just by itself. So before I go there, what I'm going to do is just get rid of one of the tedious steps in our tier 1, that being panning for the gold. And that is the first step that we want to get to. So in order to get rid of that, we're going to need that wave table. It's a blue and yellow big plastic thing that is surprisingly 6 grand for a big piece of plastic. But if it helps me not have to pan for stuff, I will happily spend that money. So here it is. Well, I guess we could say it's more than a bit of plastic. Yeah. Let's buy one of those. Are you tired of panning gold manually? Buy a wave table. Pour the soil inside and look how your jars are filling with gold. Yes, I'm going to buy one. We could also buy one of these magnetite separators as well. We're not going to buy the trailer for it yet. It's 5 grand. We could afford it, but I'll just put them in a bucket or two for now. It's not as lucrative as the gold mining by any stretch of the imagination. So instead, we're going to get a mobile generator. Now, we just need to check how many power connectors are on this. There's 2 blue and 1 yellow. So we're going to buy one of that. And we're going to buy, equivalently, 2 blue and 1 yellow. What we're also going to do is, actually, how many are on the splitter? 4. So I'm going to buy another couple of yellow. I'm going to buy a power splitter. This is all in preparation. We're not going to need this for the wave table, but it just helps us to be able to do that kind of stuff. So, does our water pump have 2 outputs? I think it does. Let's go and look around the back. Water pump small. Yes, it does have 2 outputs, I think. Yeah. So in that case, we just need 1 more hose. And where's my hoses? There we are, the small ones. And that will then connect our existing water pumps back at the parcel up to the wave table, as well as up to the wash system, the hog panning system. And I think that's everything that's needed in here. I don't think we need anything else, but we probably want to just get a couple more jerry cans because you can never have too many of them. And do we need any more stuff? I think that the wave table jets are for repairs, I think. I would assume so. I'll order 1 anyway. And we're going to get a couple more buckets, just because you can never have too many buckets. It'd be nice if you could stack buckets inside each other, but apparently, well, at least I haven't found any way of doing that just yet. So we don't need any more mats or anything, nothing else excessive. So let me get back to the parcel, and I need to unload all that stuff on, well, load all the stuff onto the truck. That's 8 grand. And then back off again at the other side. We could take out one of these machines with us while we're going. So if I ordered this, well, let me actually just clear the area first. I'm not sure where, I think it puts it like here. Yes, I want to make sure this, sorry, here. Yeah, so we should be okay. It's not going to delete the other stuff, I hope. Let's just buy the wash plant. We may not be using it just yet, but we can tow it with us while we're going. 13.5 grand. That's the start of tier 2, essentially, the mobile wash plant, or the good part of tier 2. And there it is. So I'm going to load all this onto the truck, get attached to this. Well, I'll show you the attachment in a second, and then just refill a few things. So I'm going to put the jerry cans on last. Okay, here we go. And I don't know what you mean about this being an unsafe loaded truck. I mean, look at it. It's absolutely fine. There's absolutely no way any of that's going to have any kind of problem whatsoever. So let's just back ourselves up. That looks close enough. let's see if we can attach this now. Yep, looks like we can. Okay, so now the trailer's attached. I don't think I'm going to fill this up. I think I'm going to wait. Let me get a bit all back to the parcel. Maybe I'll fill it up. We've certainly got enough money to do so. Okay, I took a second trip back to the store because I'd forgotten we needed a water splitter as well. Let's go and grab this and I'll put it with the rest of the stuff and then we'll hook everything together, hopefully. That needs to go over here somewhere. It'll do right there. And let's see if we can get this improved version of Tier 1 up and running. Let's get to that. I need to go to our water pump. Let's put it over there. And I did buy a spare wheel and a jack, just in case, because those rocks are terrible. I don't want to be stranded in the middle of nowhere. Okay, so what do we need to do first? Let's set up the power first. So if we grab the blue power cable, and we can attach one end into you and the other end into the back of this splitter. That gives us 4 connections. So then we can put in one connection to there. I can pick that cable up. So one connection from here to the back of this, which is our magnetite separator. I've put 2 buckets underneath. This basically will take your input of dirt. We'll separate gold from magnetite. It says dirt, but it means magnetite. Magnetite we can eventually put in a trailer, but we don't have to worry about it too much just now, other than to know that the problem exists. Then we need to get rid of it somehow. Okay, so then we can get the other power connector and run that from, let's say, number 2 here, over to this and plug in to here. This is our wavetable. That is all the power I need to hook up now. Yes, because this is still petrol powered. And that's fine. So let's just put this over here. We're not going to need it yet, but we may as well just store it. We got enough. Yeah, there we go. One thing, by the way, when you stack your truck as high as I did, the physics can be a little bit janky. So if it throws the contents of your truck hundreds of, I need to actually separate that, but that's actually, yeah, I'll just pour it in there. If it throws it hundreds of meters into the air, you can blame me. That's entirely my fault. It's not as bad as it used to be. It only threw it tens of meters into the air this time, but I digress. So let's just get a couple of things done. We can disconnect. I mean, we don't have to disconnect, but we can just rejig this. Let's just drop that for a second. Turn it around. There we go. So if I hook up the output now, oh, it's on the wrong side. That'll do. To there. So that should go into the splitter. And then on the output side of the splitter, we can then hook that up to wherever we want. So from here, we can hook up to the wavetable. From here, we can hook this up to the magnetite separator. So from there, all the way over here to there. And then finally, just grab the end of this. It's probably easier just to rush right click to recoil everything and then connect it directly. There we go. So I think everything's now hooked up. So let's give this a go. I'm going to need to go at, well, in fact, no, what I can do first is I can turn it on and then we can show what little gold we'll get out of this tiny little bucket's worth. So there's the icon for water. Waters are going over there. You can see it's coming into these. And it's already coming over here. So all we need to do then is just press the start button. I think. Does it not work unless it's fuller than that? Oh, power. Ha! Ha! Helps if I turn power on. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Where is the power breaker on this thing? Do I have another pull cord to find? Really wish they'd have a zoom or make the pull cord a little bit more. Oh, yeah. There we go. It's just a switch. Fine. That one has a switch, that one has a pull cord. Eh. In any case, now we should be able to start this. Yep, away it goes. So it's going to process that. And we can stop it. Then we can grab our gold bucket. Take it over to the wavetable, if I've got this the right way around. And pour that in. Then we can start this up. I think, unless it's already started. Don't think so. Switch. Yep, and you can see the gold is going up automatically at the top right of the screen. So 2 grams of gold. Yep, it's not great because this wasn't a great bucket to start off with, but that is going to work fine. And I think what we can we just start it and then just cut off the power, because then everything else will restart once the power comes back on. Looks that way. So now all we need to do is dig. We shouldn't need this anymore, so we can put this back in our tent. Thankfully, I don't like the panning process at all. It's just me trying to find out where to click, generally. And we can do the same thing with the large bucket, the barrel kind of thing that holds the water. We don't need that anymore either. So this is the precursor to starting tier 2. And that is perfectly fine. Let me just... can we actually get rid of this water? Can't throw it anywhere? Where did it go? Where? Okay, we got rid of the problem. Moving on. Moving on. I now need to do some more digging, don't I? Here's how much digging I've done so far. Not very much compared to the size of this patch, but it does let me at least have a semi-automated setup for getting the ore out of there. Alright, I'm off to dig, and then I'll come back for a full run of the bucket through everything once we've got this all done. Alright, there we go. We've got a full bucket's worth, so let's go and see if this has improved anything anywhere. So, turn you off. We don't need the water just yet. I've turned down the water sound, by the way, just in case that was a bit too loud. It seemed a bit loud to me, so I thought better just give that a go. Yeah, and then just get, and as usual, we need to clean the buckets. Now, there is another machine. I think that's the nuggerator, something like that. I think actually stops us needing buckets at all. Well, it stops us needing to clean mats into buckets, I should say. Let's just do that straight from the mats, and we don't need the bucket system other than feeding it to start with, of course. So now we've got a full bucket's worth of pay dirt, and let's start this back up again. So power on, sorry, water on, power on, and let's pick that up and let's go and ooh, actually we need to make sure we've got a bucket under there first. That'd be a bad mistake if we didn't. There we go. In you go to the top. And while that's processing, let's just put that back over here. Okay, and there we go. We're not getting much magnetite from this patch, so that seems fine. We can probably skip that step, I suppose. And just go over here, and how much gold do we get? We went from 3 grams of gold to 11, 18, 24... we're going up towards 40, 50, and it's still processing. If you have a look, it's still 23%. Yep, there we go. Now, previously, when we did this manually, it was 107, but that was when we were getting lots of stuff by nuggets as well. But this is comparable, I think. It's just cutting out the manual steps of panning for gold. So let me just put that back over here. I might even skip out on this step. It doesn't look like we've got... Have we got anything in there? No. Okay, so maybe we don't get magnetite until a later stage, in which case, no point doing it. And we can probably unplug you. But we've got the equipment, so that's good enough for me. All right, so I'm going to dig a couple more times until we get a little bit more gold than that. And from there, we can then go and get, well, an excavator and get started onto tier 2. Much more digging. Be right back. So a couple of things. I was being a little bit silly earlier, thinking this isn't working. Working perfectly well. We actually just need a bucket. Let me just grab one of these. Yeah, you have to stick the dirt in buckets before you put them into the hog pan, and then you can separate things out, and that works just fine. If I just put this bucket in the bottom now, there we go. You should see it once I turn it back on. Why aren't you turning it on? Power? Oh, turn the power off, that's why. There we go. See, it's filling up just fine. So I did go and get a trailer for that, for the magnetite. It helps quite a lot. You just pour the full buckets into this, drive this over to that chemical sort of industrial factory, and there's a grid you can park on and pull this lever at the back here. And you will get, well, for a few buckets, you'll get a few grand. So it's actually worth doing if you want to have the hassle of having to rearrange the buckets constantly. That's the only real downside to this. So, you know, that's sort of up to you. I am, however, just going to do another run and we'll see if I've got enough money yet for that excavator. We've got 24,700. We may not have enough with this, we'll see. It's got a full 100%, so we've got to see how well it does. 3 and number 4. There we go. And interestingly, the magnetite separator, and this is what's a little bit weird, why I didn't catch on immediately. In tier 2, we actually have a mobile wash plant first, and then from the wash plant, i.e. after this kind of thing, it goes into the magnetite separator. So it seems very, very odd not to do it, but that's I digress. There we go. So we're going to take this, and we can't magnetite separate it anymore, so we're just going to put it into the wavetable. And what do we get out of it? 40 grams, 45, 50, 60. Go on, give me, I don't know, give me 120 grams or something along those lines. That'd be nice. Go on. 100, 107, 125. Ooh. Yeah, 140. All right, let's go back to town and see if that gives us enough money. Let's just unhook this from the back. Don't want to drag this around all over the place unless we need to. And there's our mobile wash plant. We need to move that into a position. Not quite sure where I'm going to put this on the parcel just yet. There's a huge amount of area that we could put it on. I don't have the money for the drilling platform that will give me an idea of where to actually excavate, or at least I won't at the start. That's one of the big changes since the last season, that this drill machine is there. So you can sort of see the richness on various parts of your whichever parcel you're on, and then ideally target those spots before you go all in sort of tier 3 and get into dump trucks and huge sort of strip mining. There's the platform on the right hand side where you sell the magnetite. Strip mining of the entire landscape, but that's fine. No problem here. Also, remember I said earlier, old Arnold was cheap. He's not cheap at all. Well, we get taxed at the end of every day, and that removes quite a bit of gold if you've got some. And what I don't know is if it actually takes away money if you don't have any gold. So when you go to sleep towards dawn, just bear in mind that that will take some money or gold away from you if you're leasing. Not sure if you're purchasing. We'll see about that side of things a little bit later. And then that's something maybe to consider why you should purchase properties if it is purely just for leasing. So let's head over here. A little bit of lag when you actually load into different areas, but that's a long-standing issue. There we go. And turn off the diff lock, please. There we go. Let's see if we've got... It's 28,500 for the excavator. And I think it's like 1,500 to move it, so it is pretty much 30 grand. Otherwise, I'm going to have to go and dig again. Sell gold ore. That's not enough. That is not enough. Let me just head over to the bank and let's just see how much would we actually get through smelting. We get 143 ounces smelted, but it's in grams. It's in grams. Okay, so it would cost us $51. That's nothing, but we get 143. How much would that cost us? How much would we get for that? Sorry, 143. Okay, so the gold price is pretty low, but it would actually at 41.71 get us over $6,100. So it's probably worthwhile smelting. However, what I don't know is if that will actually take time. We're about to find out. So back to the blacksmith. Let's smelt it into a bar and come back to the bank and try and sell it. Assuming that it doesn't take up hours and hours of time, which it may do. You know, we'll see. Okay, so let's smelt the gold up. I'm going to get 143, smelt that. Now we get it straight away. What is that whole thing about then in the settings? Settings, game. Was it in game? I thought it was in game. Okay, maybe I'm misremembering. All right. In any case, we've got some gold to smelt, to sell even. Back up we go. So if it's higher than 42, we're probably fine to smelt it into a gold bar. And that's what we've done. It's in the back of our truck. And we can go and sell that at the bank. There we go. And break. We can leave it running. Hopefully we'll have enough. Let's go and take a look. I don't think we need to get it out of the back of the truck, but just in case. We've got... ooh, it's taken... Has it taken some money from us? Oh, unless that was the total before we actually... Yeah. So the 143 was before it took losses away. That's unfortunate. Let's just sell this bar. Yep. We did get 30 grand. Okay. So that's quite important. Let's just take off the parking brake. And now we should be able to buy our first excavator, hopefully. And maybe even move it back to the thing as well, back to the parcel as well. Let's have a look. Head in here. Well, we don't even need to... Well, in fact, let's not even bother heading in there. Just turn the engine off. Okay, so we want the small excavator. It's right there. And then we need to use the transport window to get it over to our parcel. So, small excavator. I do much like the larger excavator, but I don't have 86 grand. So, I'm going to order one of those. And I'm going to head back over to check out. Getting a bit of lag from moving around this machinery. So, checkout, order, yep. Machine is ready to transport. It's on the storage space. Yes, yes, yes. Make sure enough space before you spend all your money on one of them. Yeah, so there's a limit to how many objects from machine part you can have on your claim at the same time. You start off with one, unfortunately. So that's the machines that we get from this area. We're fine with the mobile wash plant, I think, so we just need to pay for it. We've only got room for one excavator. See, machines on claim at the moment, 0 of 1. So we want the small excavator to, well, move that over. 1,500 transport cost. Order, and it's gone. We've got $700 left. That was more than we had when we started the game. Why is there always that seam on the... Well, it's probably because I can lift the... yeah. Okay. Nothing wrong in there at the moment. And we can head back to base. And then maybe we could even start using that excavator. Let's see. Okay, we're back on the parcel and we now have our excavator, and we also have the mobile wash plant right next door. Technically we can basically dig wherever we like on here. Now, underneath all of this, it's actually it's fairly shallow at this point. It gets much deeper further in, the actual dirt that we can dig out. So if we shift into operator mode with shift, you can now use the mouse controls, which didn't used to exist, to be able to extend the bucket and bring it back up. You can see what you're going to dig on the floor. Again, that's also new. And we can change this arm as well with the first mouse button and then moving it up and down. However, to start off with, what we probably just want to do is get to the ground and then try and pull towards us as much as possible. Probably we're going to have problems with that, so yeah, we just need to maybe dig down a little bit. The usual problem is you tend to have a problem with traction when it's this far away, so it may help just to move a little bit closer and then shift back across into operator mode. There we go. So now we can use this to dig forwards, and there we go, we've got a full load. We can lift the main arm, rotate it around, and this is the number 3 camera, by the way, in case you're wondering which camera I'm using. And we can lift it up and unload it like this. So that's basically one shovelful, gets us to 20%. So we can go ahead and just fill it up a few times more just to get it up towards 100%. But then we then need to set up everything else surrounding that mobile wash plant. So let's jump towards that. And yes, if we don't have the gold, it does take the rent from us in money. So yeah, that's something we need to fix. So one of the first things we need to do is set up the mobile wash plant properly. We've filled it up now with a full bucket, well, a full load from the wash plant itself. It's on 100%. So let's just take a quick look at the connections here. So it's on the other side at the moment. So we're going to need power and we're going to need water. Where's the water? I think the water's connecting into there somewhere. I can never quite remember. Now the water we maybe have a bit of difficulty with because we're so far away from the actual water source that we may be out of range of our hoses, and we need another pump. I'm at minus $1,800 and we need another pump. That may mean me digging again. Let's just say, well, maybe we have a little bit in the magnetite, but oh, 0%. Great. I have slightly more in magnetite when I push this in, but not very much. How much does one bucket consume? 4%. Okay, that's not great. So yes, I'm going to have to set up a few things. I'm going to do it off camera for the most part, but what we're going to need to do is get a hose pipe all the way from here across there and down that hill to the mobile wash plant. We're going to be able to move this anyway because this is portable, so we can just move it quite easily. And this will then supply any power needs that we need down there. And then we're going to need to connect it up, but I think we've got to have everything we need apart from the extra hose and the extra pump. I think we made out maybe out of range. I'll try it without, but if we have problems, yeah, we'll need to move some stuff. As it happens, I think we can get away without the without the use of our an extra pump. Whoops, let's just grab that bucket before we do this. Let's just put the buckets in place and then I'll explain the rest of the setup. It's pretty similar to what we've already got going. Let's just put those both in place. There we go. Final bucket is just a waste bucket that we can just swap things over with. Usually I put it here, and then we can switch with the active bucket pretty quickly if it's already processing. Okay, so we've got a water pipe coming all the way from this first pump, the one we already have, which is directly into the brook just up there. So it's coming up here, coming out this side. Now we don't need another pump because we can get away with a water splitter. So water splitter I already had, remember? So from that we've then got a water hose going around and into the big processing unit. Okay, we've got power connecting to this generator. Then we just need to connect up, connect up water to each of these. Let me just make sure, yeah, it's the right side for that. So we need a couple of water hoses and some power. I think I may be short 1 power though, which is fine. We can get away without it just by switching the power over temporarily until I'm back in the positive. There we go. And into power distribution board. There we go. The power splitter, if you like. And yeah, we've got a couple of hoses available. That's just an empty jerry can. So we can go from here now. We can connect into our separator for magnetite. There we go. And grab the last one. And straight into the wavetable. So yeah, we're short on a power lead, but we can just switch from here to here temporarily. And that is something we can just top this back up with. Yep. And can we top up the water pump as well? Or is that already topped up? Yeah, it's pretty topped up. The other thing is that this little power generator is probably struggling. It's going to use this fuel much faster than before. However, we've got nearly a full bucket worth on the input. So let's turn this thing on. And there it goes. Now, while that's happening, you can just happily get in the excavator and keep on refilling it. That will work just fine. So if we head in here, you'll start to see the kind of damage I've been doing to the ground in front of us. Behind that mobile wash plant, though, you'll see some pebbles starting to come out. And excuse the motorbike in the background if you can hear it. So the pebbles coming out of the bottom, that will start to mount up into a spoil heap. So it's not ideal where it's parked at the moment, but this just happens to make it. And as the extremely noisy things go past, I think they were aeroplanes. Yes, so that happens to go into a spoil heap, and that will mount up over time. So it's not in the ideal position where it is right now. However, it'll do. So let's start this up. Well, we don't need the handbrake to disengage. Where we can just get our driving mode, our operator mode even. There we go. And again, you can just scoop stuff up here. Get most of a scoop, and around we go. So you see, it's filled up that bucket at the bottom to 15% from a full load at the top. However, it won't matter too much because this full load we're going to get from the top. By the time we get back round and get more of our pay dirt, there will be that will already be processed. Yeah, it's already been processed. So we're pretty much limited by this excavator at the moment. The excavator's okay, but as a small excavator, it's well, that's exactly the problem. It's small, so it can pick up a full load just fine. It's just not very quick. Yeah. So I'm gonna just go and fill up this a few more times, and then we'll come to the point where we get a full bucket, hopefully. Oh, and in case you didn't see that, then it gave us another nugget, which is a nice change. Haven't seen one in a while. Maybe it gives you a full nugget just deciding to start to move into tier 2. Hopefully that's the case. It might just be random. In any case, back to digging. Okay, our first full bucket load, well, 98%, has come out. So let's grab this. I've got a couple of nuggets while we're going, so 93 grams of gold already. So time to go back through the magnetite separator. Hopefully this will now separate both. Yep, there we go. That's going to work fine. I'm going to put this back where it belongs. And they will then just change over the power to the other machine once this is finished. There we go, 88%. And let's grab the gold. We don't want the magnetite. So 93.6. Let's see where this gets to. Okay, so 141, 150. It's down to 10%. There we go. So that's 118 plus 7-ish. So yeah, 125 grams. So we can head back to town and sell that up. and hopefully, well, get out of debt. That'd be good. Okay, so 218. We're going to get 19 grams of gold lost, so we should get just under 200. Okay. I don't have enough money to do that. Fine, we'll sell a small amount. Oh no, we need to sell a large amount. Never mind, we'll just sell the ore this time. There it goes. We're back in the positive again. Good. So we've now got a full tier 2 setup. Now there are ways to extend this while still be in tier 2, and this used to be the most efficient way of doing things. One of that is to save up for another one of those mobile wash plants and set them up back to back so that the large excavator can drop or can drop pay dirt into them. That means obviously 80,000 odd for the large excavator, and it means another, what was it, 13 I want to say ish for the mobile wash plant. So yeah, that's already over 100 grand. That can get quite expensive quite quickly. So we need to get a lot more money before we actually do any of that. Now you can fork out a loan and that will then tide you over, but then of course you've got much more per day you've got to pay back. So it's sort of up to you at this point how you proceed through tier 2. We will have all the machinery we need. Oh, and also remember, you can't just add another excavator or another machine onto your plot anymore. You have to actually spend the money to open up slots on the parcel. So I think it's like 50 grand to have a second machine. I'm not sure if it goes up after that, so you've got to think very carefully about what you do if you decide to play through. But at this point, in Tier 2, it's largely a digging simulator. You can do it the way you want to. Tier 3 is where we get lots and lots of machines, and those where the new machines really are. Particularly that drill arm. I guess the drill will come into play in Tier 2 if you can afford it. It's like 140 odd thousand. But it lets us sample the parcel to find out where all the gold is, because it's not all the same in every particular location. You know, this location might be pretty good, but it might be terrible by comparison to the rest of the parcel. So we've got to think about it, and I've got to think about it too. So hope to join me next episode when I may have more news on that. I may have to, oh, that's flickering. I may have to consult a few wiki pages and similar kind of things, see what the best way to actually get this going is. But otherwise, I hope you've enjoyed the episode. We've got tier 2 running. We've moved out of there. What we may well do also is open up the workers system. I don't have enough money right now, but in here, if I, that's 10 grand. Yeah, I definitely don't have enough money right now. But we can open up workers and tell the workers to continue working this system here, even though there's nothing really at it anymore. I guess we can swap the other section back on here if we wanted to, or something like that, if it needs to take care of that. Otherwise, no, we can have them generate passive income in the background. But we'll come into that next episode, and we'll cover a few more things. So hopefully you enjoyed this one. Feel free to like, subscribe, and share, etc. as normal. And as always, guys, thanks for watching.